Okay, GCC students, now we are ready to do our 3 trials for data. So get your data sheets ready. I have filled my burette with sodium hydroxide. I'm going to lower it down to get rid of any air that's in the tip. So I'm going to lower it down. Okay, so we've lowered it down and we've gotten rid of the air bubble. So we're going to take our initial burette reading for trial 1. Looks like we're in between 2 and 3, and it's close to 2.5, a little bit past. So I'm going to say 2.51 milliliters. 2.51 milliliters for our initial burette reading with the sodium hydroxide in it. Now I have used the pipette and I have put 10.00 milliliters of the vinegar acid, acetic acid, in my 3 flasks. So now I'm going to carefully slide the stir bar in. And notice the stir bar is above the liquid as we talked about earlier. So I'm going to add some water to that so it doesn't splash. So I'm going to add enough distilled water to cover that magnet stir bar so it will not splash when it spins. And we want to make sure we have phenolphthalein in there. So we're going to add 2 drops of our indicator. And as we know, the indicator will turn pink once we are at a basic pH. So let's get this stirring. We want a brisk pace, but not enough to splash. And I know for sure I can add 8 milliliters safely. So that's going to take us from 2.5 to 10.5. So we can just go ahead and open up the burette. There's 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, 7.5, 8.5, 9.5, and 10.5. Okay, so at this point we need to slow down and go at a slower pace. So we're going to add it dropwise. We see it turning pink but going away. So the pink is still going away. And the pink's lasting a little longer, so I'm going to slow down a little bit. There we go. And we want to catch it when the whole flask turns pink. Pale pink, right? We talked about this. We want to be pale pink, not hot pink. And there's lots of patience in chemistry lab work, so we have to be patient. And we can see the pink is starting to persist a little longer now. That means we're getting close, probably within 0.5 milliliter of the end point, which is where we want to stop. So, that was a long time. Yeah, we're getting close. One more. And this is probably it. Looks like we're going to stay pink, a nice pale pink. All right, so we need a final volume. And the final volume is very close to 15, a little bit past, about 15.0 milliliters. 15.05 milliliters is our final volume of the burette, and that's our first trial. Okay, GCC students, we're ready for trial 2. We're all set up with our sodium hydroxide filled back up and our second Erlenmeyer flask with the water, the 10.00 milliliters of vinegar, stir bar, and phenolphthalein in the flask. Let's get our initial reading. It's between 2 and 3 again, but this time we are at 2.77 milliliters. Yeah, 2.77 milliliters for our initial reading. So again, we're close to 2.5, so we can go safely to 10.5 rather quickly. And now we're going to slow it down, drop-wise. We can see the pink is still going away. I'm going to slow down a little bit. And again, we're getting close. The pink color is persisting as we add the sodium hydroxide. Oh, that was close. And I think that's our pale pink. All right, needs to persist for about 20 seconds. Pink. Yeah, so let's get our final volume. This was a really good one. And our final volume right at 15.29 milliliters. 15.29 milliliters is our final volume, and that's trial 2. Okay, Glendale Community College students, we are ready for trial 3. I have refilled the burette back with sodium hydroxide, and we have our vinegar acid, 10.00 milliliters of it in the flask with a little water, the indicator phenolphthalein, and a stir bar. So let's get our initial reading. We are between 2 and 3 again. This is 2.78 milliliters. 2.78 milliliters for our initial volume. So again, we are free to go to about 10.8 milliliters safely. So here we go. Let's go ahead and add that. And we will slow down to drips. And the pink is going away. And we're going to slow down a little bit. And the pink's persisting longer, so we're getting close. We want to make sure we stop at a pale pink. Looks like. Let's try one more drop, so I gotta be really careful. There we go. All right, we got our pale pink color for trial 3. Let's get a final volume. We are at 15.49. 15.49 milliliters for our final volume for trial 3.